The Securities and Exchange Commission alleged in an indictment that Phil Mickelson made $931,000 after purchasing stock on an insider trading tip. Mickelson was not criminally charged. The SEC alleged that Mickelson bought stock in a company in 2012 after receiving a tip from sports gambler Billy Walters. He allegedly used part of the profit to pay money he owed to Walters, with whom he'd placed bets. Walters was criminally charged with insider trading. Now, an SEC spokesman says Mickelson has agreed to pay over $1 million, his profits, plus interest. Skip, should this hurt Mickelson's image?
Stephen A., yes, it should. And Molly, yes, it should. I'll preface everything I'm going to say by maybe disqualifying myself. I've never been a big Phil fan. I've always, and I've said this many times on this show, always considered him to come off as a little bit of a phony to me, to be not exactly what he comes off or the image that he portrays. Too much of America as sort of the husband and father next door. Not that he isn't a great husband and a great father, but there's just something that's phony about his smile to me, Stephen A., that I've never bought into. I've argued with my mom for years about this. She loves Phil Mickelson. And I say, there's just something I don't quite buy into with him. So now this happens. And to answer this question from an expert point of view, I read a quote this morning from an advertising executive in USA Today. And the quote was, given that Phil was an unknowing accomplice to all this and wasn't knowingly breaking the law, I don't see this affecting his marketability. So that's somebody who knows this game far better than I do. And Phil's got some big money marketing accounts. You know all of them, Rolex and Exxon Mobil, and we could go on and on.
Amgen.
Yeah, you got it.
It's a pharmaceutical company, man. They paying that man tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah. Forbes said last year that Phil Mickelson made $51 million. Oh, my gosh. So now, let's look at what just happened. Molly detailed it, but I'm going to go back through it quickly. So Phil buys $7.4 million worth of stock of Dean Foods. This is late in 2012. That was by far the largest stock purchase he had ever made, according to the SEC investigation. An executive at Dean Foods was feeding info to Billy Waters, who's widely regarded, Walters, Walters, I'm sorry, widely regarded as one of the most successful sports bettors ever in this country. So the stock immediately soars 40%, and Phil immediately sells off all of his stock and makes this, obviously huge profit. And some of that was used, according to this SEC filing against Phil, it was used to repay a gambling debt to Billy Walters. Okay? Now, to me, that's the definition of insider trading. But Phil was his people or his attorneys are sort of qualifying this as he was an innocent bystander to the point of almost being a victim of all this, that he had no idea what was really going on here. I got to tell you, Phil Mickelson is a shrewd operator. He is a big-time gambler himself. He is known to bet on teams playing sports and on himself playing practice rounds against his competitors for huge amounts of money. He loves to gamble. In fact, I think a lot of his mystique and popularity with a lot of the male fans